What are some common mistakes that first-time entrepreneurs make, and how can I avoid them? This is from Mike.
Aside from my basic, keep hammering this home of knowing your numbers, understanding what metrics are important to you, I would say now probably welcome everybody to the Ask Jason show, answering any questions you have. I know Megan has a list of stuff, but let's jump into it. Busy day today. Got a lot to do. So let's go through it, see if we have any questions coming in from the comments after, and then happy to stay on and answer whatever questions we have. But in the meantime, let's jump through.
Okay. All right. Our first question is from Luca. Great. How do you make time for things like self-care and personal development, all while being a busy entrepreneur and parent?
Schedule.
Yeah.
It's an easy one. Schedule it. We all think we're great multitaskers. We are awful multitaskers. I think I've never really met a high functioning or high level entrepreneur that doesn't have a strict schedule and strict routine. Something that I've slowly been spending more time building and getting better at, because every time I build one with Megan, I end up messing it up and screwing it up because I don't go through her and I just put things on the calendar, and that's the wrong time, wrong days to put things on the calendar, which then confuses her even more. So she puts things on the wrong time, wrong day on the calendar because she's following my lead. But I think we're getting to a point where we're pretty strict with our schedule. So we have, I have days where it's focused on the business. So I'm just sitting there setting strategies, how to grow the business. I get time to think, I get time to plan, I get time to work on things. And then I have days where it's focused in the business, where I'm just working solely inside the business. So that filming content like this right now, making ads, writing copy, doing client calls, doing coaching calls, whatever it is. Those are the days in the business. And then I try to have almost a free-ish day, which is almost like a recovery day, which gives me that balance now. And then through those times, I get to read, I get to listen to podcasts. I go for a walk every day, listen to an audio book while I'm doing it. I crush through books right now. I listen to books at a 1.7x speed, trying to get to 2x, trying to work myself up. And it's not it's comprehension too, right? So it's not, I'm listening to a book and be just to say, hey, I finished the book.
Yeah.
But that's my personal development, right? Is reading things. I have a really good study guide of how I do things, and the books that I want to read are all catered around things that I want to get better at or I want to know a little bit more of. I have a great note-taking system. Everything's in Notion. Everything gets tagged. So if I ever want to look up something around goals or belief or mindset or finance, I could just go by the tags and see it. So every morning I go through Readwise, and it shows me my notes on everything that I've read. But everything is just now getting insanely scheduled in and dialed in. And as I'm taking more of a backseat to my calendar and letting, Megan kind of take control of it, it's just getting better. Where it's just all right, cool. Here are the days. Let's stick to that. So how do you do these things? If you're growing a business and you got to work on the business and you got to do a bunch of different stuff, you got to show up as a spouse, you got to show up as a parent, you got to show up for yourself. It's scheduled in. We have the weekly 3 scheduled in every single month. I have a quarterly 7, which I take 7 days off in the business every quarter. Those are scheduled. I work with Megan. We look at our schedule, figure out the best day or the best time to take that off, unless it's scheduled around something. Look at the best time to do so. And then things get blocked off and scheduled.
Yeah, the schedule is everything. It's crucial.
It's really a long-winded answer I just gave you when I could have just said schedule it. But I want you to understand the importance of just how strict I'm getting with my schedule. So when someone's like, hey, you have 15 minutes to jump on a call today? And I'm like, no. You don't have 15 minutes? I'm like, no. I really don't. And if it's hey, you want to golf today? I'm like, no. What, you can't golf today? I'm like, no. Look at my schedule.
Yeah.
But they're you're that busy? I'm like, it's not that I'm that busy. It's that things are structured in a right way. So Anything that's important to me gets planned. Anything that needs to get done gets planned. I try to eliminate as many distractions as possible. And if it's not on the schedule, then it's just not going to get done.
And then what was it that Readwise? Is that what you use to
Yeah. So, I mean,
tag things?
if you're in the coaching program, you're like in MDM, which if you're not and you want to learn more about, just go to jportnoy.com. But in the coaching program, that's actually one of the trainings that I'm filming right now, is really how that's done. So anything I highlight on the internet in a book, on my Kindle, audiobook notes, get synced to Readwise or like a Twitter thread. And in Readwise, every single morning, Readwise gives me like 10 summaries, like just 10 of those quotes or whatever it is. And then I go through and I start tagging them.
Very
I'm like,
cool.
oh, do I want to keep that? Yeah, cool. And then I tag them. And then everything sits inside Notion. I could go inside Notion and open up any book and see every single one of my notes from inside there. I could go inside and search for tags. So like I said, if I want to do a training on, um, wealth building, let's say, anything that I've ever read on wealth building is tagged. And so I could just go to that and I could kind of just, build off that.
Yeah. A lot better than the traditional, get the highlighter out and tag the page.
That's what I do. And then I just take a picture of the page. So any physical page, I take a picture of it, gets highlighted, gets imported in, to Readwise. But it's more, you read a book, cool. You get to highlight certain aspects of it. You get to then start going in and then being like, okay, well, how do I get back to that book? Oh, now if I want to write something, I want to write an article on goal setting. But I'm going to go pull out every single one of my books from the shelf and start going through the highlights and be like, oh, this one's on goals, this one's on goals. Now I could just literally go to the tags and pull everything up. And I could be like, oh, that's a cool thought process. Oh, yeah, that expands on what I'm trying to talk about. Oh, that's a cool quote to pull into the article. So, like I said, I'm trying to become, you call it anal as possible, but I just think as well, just want to eliminate distractions. Like I told this to my wife the other day. It's like, I want to throw out all my clothes. She's like, what do you mean you want to throw out all your clothes? You have so many clothes. I'm like, I want to throw it all out and I want to rebuy just basics. Like there's a brand I like. I wear blank shirts most of the time. If you've ever seen me on any single one of these podcasts or anything like that, I'm in a blank shirt all the time. Buy it in like 4 or like 5 different colors. V-necks in like 3 different colors. I have 2 pairs of jeans that I wear all the time, 3 shorts that I wear all the time. And man, that eliminates distraction. I don't have to wake up in the morning and figure out what I need to wear. And that's
Steve Jobs.
that's exactly. That's where it comes from. There was another person also.
Yeah.
I think it's Mark Zuckerberg. I could be wrong. If you know, just put it in the comments and correct me. But they also did that. They threw out all their clothes, kept the same basic outfit because they eliminated 10 minutes of decision making right then and there. And then they're back. Another crazy story is Bill Gates was in the car. Someone went to the car with him and said, Bill Gates, Bill, I think they called him Bill Gates. He's like, Bill, I think you were robbed. And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, your stereo's gone. He goes, no, I ripped it out. He ripped out his stereo because it was a distraction from his driving where he could now do something else. So he took it out so he wouldn't be distracted by it anymore. Like, I'm not saying we all need to be that extreme, but there's a reason why those people are insanely successful and they all have strict schedules and strict routines. So best to borrow as much as you can from them.
Yeah, so true. Okay. All right. What are some common mistakes that first-time entrepreneurs make and how can I avoid them? This is from Mike.
Aside from my like basic keep hammering this home of knowing your numbers, understanding what metrics are important to you. I would say now probably patience. There's a great quote. It's attributed to Bill Gates, but I don't even think Bill Gates said it. But it's like people overestimate what they could do in 12 months, and they underestimate what they could do in 10 years. So I think every entrepreneur starts and they lose patience and it's like, oh, I'm going to build this $1 million business 3 months in and this is what it's going to be. And they don't see the bigger picture of like, hey, what can I build in 12 months? What can I build in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? And how do these slow things compound off one another? How do I start playing the long game of like, get this better, this stacks on top of this stacks on top of that? That's the power of compounding. And you look at that, it's like Warren Buffett says compounding is like his number one secret towards investing. Albert Einstein said it's the eighth wonder of the world. You take a penny that doubles every single day. The first few weeks, you get nothing. After that is where things just become like huge. You start becoming like a multi-millionaire. Just people stop at that 15-day mark and be like, this sucks. I'm not seeing any progress. And they don't understand that they're just a compound away. They're another inch away. They're another stacking point away from them actually hitting the goals that they want to hit. So I would say that's not understanding their numbers, not knowing, not being truly impatient. And then the third I would say to that is they have no vision of what they want their life to look like. So not only do they not have a clear map or destination for their business in a 3, 5, 10-year mark, but they have no vision for themselves. And the reason why that may be more important in the business is if you don't know where you want to be or why you want to be at a certain place, you're going to run your business the exact same way. So your business is your tool, is your vehicle for you to get the life you want into where you want to be. And if you don't know what that looks like, how are you going to, like, how do you know if you should be driving a car, a rocket ship, or an airplane, a helicopter, or boat, right? You don't know. So those are probably the 3 biggest mistakes.
Okay. This is from Derek. All right. In entrepreneurship, how important is networking?
Important, but maybe not as important as maybe the question is phrased. I don't know. I'm actually torn on this question because networking is huge, but networking the right way is more important. You going to sit in a conference all the time and calling it networking is just not going to work. That just doesn't work. Joining a mastermind, huge for you. Huge. That's huge. Like being around people. I think you run an agency going towards industry specific problems and not just like the biggest marketing conference and sitting with other agency owners and calling it networking. That's not so good. So look, there's a quote, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, but you got to be in front of the right people. And nowadays, I think your network is super important. Networking is often done the wrong way. So I would much rather you spend $10,000 to join a mastermind filled with people who are doing the things that you want to do than to go spend money in a hotel to go into a conference and sit in there the whole time and watch people on stage and to sit with other people inside your industry. That networking is not going to grow your business. I think that networking is great. It's good to socialize. It's great to talk shop, but maybe not the best. So I think it depends where you are in your business. Networking, I mean, I'd be stupid to say networking is not important, and doesn't help grow the business. Just I think people need to figure out the right way to network. And they also and keep in mind, most people have the right network already to start. They could literally start messaging everyone from their family, from their cousins, from any relative and friends and being like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you know anyone? And that's your network. But around networking, the right place, like if you're going to hang out in a place like BNI and try to sell $10,000 offers, you're in the wrong place. But that's networking. And people think that's networking. When I first started, I was in BNI, and then I had a mentor who was like, get out of there. It's for broke people. I don't know if I'd be that harsh, But I mean, if you're selling like insurance or something like that, it's great to clean up that. But if you're selling high ticket services, probably not the right place because most of those people are
Okay.
startups. So networking is important, but done right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, looks like it's time for my question of the week. All right. Do you think it's better to start a business alone, so like solo, or with co-founders, and why?
It's a good question. Um, Depends on your strengths. There are times where I'm happy I did it alone, and there are times where I wish I could take the load off me and have a partner. Um, I think if I found the right person and it was truly the right fit and we could build this together into something big, I'd 1000% do partnership over going at it alone.
Okay.
Um, there are other ways that you could grow a business and give, key employees equity eventually once they grow into things and they start taking over certain parts of the business. They become, small like partners. Everyone wants to keep 100% of their business. But if you ever watch Shark Tank, they say, like 1% of, $400 billion is better than 100% of, $10.
Hmm.
So it depends what you're going to do. I watch people who have partners and they're able to take more time off because one person leaves and the other person covers, and they know how to balance off each other. And there's always one person there. Um, I've never had a business with partners before, so I don't know what that's like. But there are times where I really wish I did have a partner. So if I was going to start another business, like if someone came to me right now with the business idea, it would have to be a partnership. I wouldn't start another business on my own. I'd look for it to be a partnership where I could come in and add, and I don't even need more than 50%. It could be like 49%. It could be less, depending on what I bring to the table and what they're going to do. But I would look for a partner. I just think partnerships, the reason why I never did it is the same reason I got married late, right? Like I partnership is a marriage. You got to find the right person. And I'm a very picky person. I'm a very finicky person. Can be hard to deal with at times. You could ask my wife that, and I get annoyed very easily. You could ask Megan that too, and you could ask anyone who knows me that. So you got to find someone who's going to deal with you. That's like your work spouse, and you're forever tied. Something happens to you, your family's involved. Like that's forever involved, and people don't go into that with enough thought. So, you know, I was very picky until, I found my wife, and that was the fit. That was the person I was waiting for. Business, maybe that's a bit extreme, but if I had to start again, I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it with a partner. I think I could grow a lot faster with somebody to share the responsibilities with and let go. And I think starting off was a bit greedy. It's like, I want 100%. I don't want to share this with anyone. I just want to build this my own. But yeah,
Okay. Makes sense. All right.
that's it.
Yep. Looks like that's it.
Good timing. 3 minutes to jump onto my next meeting. Everyone, thank you so much for paying attention. See you next week. Megan, as always, great question. And thank you for that. Have
All
a good
right.
day, everyone.